Welcome, dear reader, to Scary Snacks, where the terrifying unknown comes alive. Prepare yourself as we delve into the haunting story of Blackwood Manor, a place where darkness reigns and whispers of forgotten horrors echo through the halls. Blackwood Manor, a name whispered with fear and trepidation, stands alone on a windswept moor. Its crumbling facade hides a sinister past, filled with secrets that would chill the bravest soul. Join us, if you dare, as we uncover the chilling truth behind Blackwood Manor, where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, and the shadows hold their breath. But be warned, once you enter the world of Blackwood Manor, you may never truly escape its grasp. Blackwood Manor, a Gothic monstrosity of stone and despair, has cast a long shadow over the surrounding moor for centuries. Its history is a tapestry woven with threads of madness, murder, and betrayal. The manor's founder, Lord Blackwood, was a man of insatiable greed and chilling cruelty. His reign was marked by violence and despair. Local villagers whispered of dark rituals and unspeakable acts committed within the manor's walls. One stormy night, Lord Blackwood was found brutally murdered in his study. The killer was never found. Some say it was a jealous rival. Others whisper of a vengeful spirit. Whatever the truth, Lord Blackwood's death cast a pall over the manor. It became a place of whispers and shadows, forever tainted by his dark legacy. Over the years, Blackwood Manor saw a parade of unfortunate souls pass through its doors. Each brought their own tragedies and secrets, adding to the manor's grim tapestry. There was the young governess, driven to madness by the whispers she heard in the night. Her ghostly cries, they say, can still be heard echoing through the halls. Then there was the family, seeking refuge from the city, only to find terror within the manor's walls. Their screams echoed through the empty rooms, their fates forever entwined with Blackwood's darkness. Each tragedy, each life extinguished within the manor, seemed to fuel the growing darkness. The walls themselves seemed to absorb the terror, holding on to the anguish like a morbid souvenir. The west wing of Blackwood Manor has long been sealed off, a place of chilling legends and whispered warnings. The manor itself, with its towering spires and Gothic architecture, stands as a testament to a bygone era, but it is the west wing that holds the darkest secrets. Over the years, many have tried to uncover the mysteries hidden within its walls, but few have dared to venture too close. It is said to be the most haunted part of the manor, where the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. The air around the west wing is always colder, and an eerie mist seems to perpetually hang in the air, as if the very atmosphere is charged with supernatural energy. Those who have approached the wing often speak of an overwhelming sense of dread, as if unseen eyes are watching their every move. It was in the West Wing that Lord Blackwood met his gruesome end. The exact details of his demise remain shrouded in mystery, but the stories tell of a violent struggle and a final, blood-curdling scream that echoed through the halls. Some say that his spirit, unable to find peace, still roams the corridors, reliving the moments of his tragic end. And it is from the West Wing, locals say, that the most terrifying sounds emanate. On quiet nights when the wind is still, the air is filled with the faint sounds of whispers, moans, and sometimes the unmistakable sound of a scream. These sounds have been heard by many, and each time they send chills down the spines of those who hear them. Visitors to the manor have reported hearing blood-curdling screams coming from the sealed-off wing. Some have even claimed to hear the sound of footsteps, as if someone, or something, is pacing back and forth, trapped in an endless loop of torment. The hallways, once grand and opulent, now stand as silent witnesses to the horrors that have unfolded within. Others claim to have seen flickering lights and shadows moving within, as if something unseen is restlessly pacing within those abandoned rooms. These sightings are often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature and an overwhelming sense of being watched. The lights, which seem to flicker of their own accord, cast eerie shadows that dance across the walls, creating an atmosphere of perpetual unease. Some say it is the tormented soul of Lord Blackwood, unable to find peace even in death. His ghostly figure has been seen wandering the halls, his face a mask of anguish and despair. Those who have seen him describe a feeling of intense sorrow, as if they are witnessing the suffering of a soul trapped between worlds. Others whisper of something far more sinister, something that feeds off the terror of the living. This malevolent presence, they say, is the true source of the screams and the shadows. It is a force that thrives on fear, growing stronger with each terrified heartbeat. Whether it is the spirit of Lord Blackwood or something far darker, one thing is certain. The West Wing of Blackwood Manor is a place where the living dare not tread. Section 5. The Vanishing Portrait. A Harbinger of Doom? Among Blackwood Manor's many unsettling features, the portrait of Lord Blackwood himself held a particularly unsettling presence. This portrait, painted in the late 1800s, depicted Lord Blackwood with a stern, almost menacing expression. His eyes seemed to follow anyone who dared to walk past, creating an eerie atmosphere that unsettled even the bravest of souls. The portrait, displayed prominently in the Grand Hall, seemed to watch the inhabitants with a cold, calculating gaze. It was as if Lord Blackwood himself was still keeping a watchful eye over his domain, even from beyond the grave. Many who lived or worked in the manor reported feeling an inexplicable chill whenever they passed by the painting. One fateful evening, the portrait vanished without a trace. The Grand Hall, once dominated by Lord Blackwood's stern visage, now had an empty space where the portrait used to hang. The disappearance was sudden and baffling, leaving everyone in the manor in a state of shock and confusion. The staff searched high and low, but the heavy canvas seemed to have simply disappeared into thin air. They looked behind every piece of furniture, in every dusty corner, and even in the attic and basement, but the portrait was nowhere to be found. It was as if it had been spirited away by some unseen force. Strangely, the disappearance of the portrait coincided with a surge of paranormal activity within the manor. Lights began to flicker, strange noises echoed through the halls, and ghostly figures were seen lurking in the shadows. The once quiet and eerie manor had become a hotbed of supernatural occurrences. The temperature dropped, objects moved on their own, and the oppressive feeling of being watched intensified. Frost appeared on the windows, and the air grew cold and heavy. People reported feeling an unseen presence, as if they were constantly being observed by unseen eyes. Was the vanishing portrait a mere coincidence? Or was it a harbinger of something more sinister, a sign that the evil within Blackwood Manor was growing stronger? The mystery of the vanishing portrait remains unsolved, leaving us to wonder if the spirit of Lord Blackwood still roams the halls, watching and waiting for the right moment to make his presence known once more. Section 6. The Séance and the Awakening. Drawn by the manor's dark reputation, a group of paranormal investigators decided to conduct a séance within the manor's decaying walls. Their goal to communicate with the spirits trapped within Blackwood and uncover the truth behind its haunting. As the séance progressed, the air grew heavy with anticipation. The investigators, armed with their Ouija board and EMF readers, asked question after question into the darkness. Suddenly, the room grew icy cold. The candles flickered and died, plunging the room into darkness. A low, guttural growl seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The investigators, terrified but determined, pressed on. And then it happened. The entity responded. Section 7. Bloodstains and Terror. The Night of Reckoning. The entity's response was swift and brutal. It was as if the very walls of Blackwood Manor had been waiting for this moment, for the chance to exact their revenge on those who dared to disturb their eternal slumber. One by one, the investigators were picked off, their screams echoing through the empty halls of Blackwood Manor. The air was thick with a palpable sense of dread, each corner of the mansion hiding unspeakable horrors. The investigators, once confident and brave, now found themselves reduced to terrified prey in a game they could not win. Each death was more gruesome than the last, their bodies found contorted in unnatural positions. It was as if an unseen force had twisted their very souls, leaving behind a macabre display of terror and agony. The manor seemed to revel in their suffering, each death feeding its insatiable hunger for fear. As the night wore on, the manor seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. Lights flickered ominously, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. The very air seemed to hum with a sinister presence, a dark force that thrived on the chaos and despair that had taken hold of the mansion. Bloodstains appeared on the walls, as if painted there by an unseen hand. The crimson marks seemed to pulse with a life of their own, a chilling reminder of the violence that had taken place. The investigators could feel the eyes of the manor upon them, watching, waiting for the next victim to fall. The temperature plummeted, and the air grew thick with the stench of decay and fear. Frost formed on the windows, and the investigators' breath became visible in the frigid air. The once grand halls of Blackwood Manor were now a frozen tomb, a place where hope had long since died. By morning, only one investigator remained alive, driven mad by the horrors he had witnessed. His mind was shattered, unable to comprehend the nightmare that had unfolded before his eyes. The once proud and determined investigator was now a broken shell, haunted by the memories of that fateful night. He was found babbling incoherently, his eyes wide with terror, his clothes stained with the blood of his companions. His words were a jumbled mess of fear and confusion, a desperate attempt to make sense of the horrors he had endured. The sight of him was a stark reminder of the price they had paid for their curiosity. His incoherent ramblings hinted at an ancient evil, something awakened by the séance, something hungry for blood and vengeance. The investigators had unknowingly unleashed a force beyond their understanding, a force that had been lying in wait for centuries. And now it was free to wreak havoc once more, its thirst for blood far from sated. Section 8. The Unsolved Mystery of Blackwood Manor. The massacre at Blackwood Manor sent shockwaves through the paranormal community. The manor, already feared for its dark history, became a byword for terror, a place where even the bravest souls dared not tread. To this day, the mysteries of Blackwood Manor remain unsolved. What is the true nature of the evil that resides within its walls? What happened to the investigators that fateful night? And what became of the ancient evil that was said to have been unleashed? Some say that the manor is now quiet, the entity sated by its bloody feast. Others whisper that it is merely biding its time, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold. Section 9. Join the Scary Snacks community. If you enjoyed this chilling tale of Blackwood Manor, be sure to like and share it with your fellow horror enthusiasts. And don't forget to subscribe to Scary Snacks for more spine-tingling stories from the dark side. Do you have your own theories about the mysteries of Blackwood Manor? Share them in the comments below. But be warned, once you delve into the world of Scary Snacks, you may never look at the dark the same way again.